This video is describing a task-oriented group for seniors called Senior Serving. We are presenting it from Temple University Occupational Therapy Department.
The purpose of the group is to take seniors and help them decrease their feelings of isolation and loneliness through doing collaborative community service projects. So the plan is for the members to meet every other week to not only decide but also complete community service projects. So sample projects would include packing up school supplies to be donated to a local school, doing clothing drives, letters and cards for soldiers or individuals who are in the hospital.
Frames of reference that will be used during this group are the coping frame of reference and a psychoeducational frame of reference. The coping frame of reference will be used because it will be helping the members deal with isolation. They'll use new skills to deal with the isolation and will form connections in the community to be able to reach out to others. The psychoeducational frame of reference will be used because the participants will be learning about each other, will be taught about generativity, and will work on switching habits.
Our group's base is based on Erikson's thoughts about generativity as a stage of development. So generativity is an expression by caring for others of all ages and is balanced by the challenge to graciously accept care from others. So as we know, as people get older, often they need more help from other people, and it is through Erikson's theory that people will be able to receive help after they give help and have an increased feeling of acceptance in that way. Cultural generativity is sharing wisdom, knowledge, and cultural values beyond the here and now. So we use this theory of generativity versus stagnation as the basis for forming this group and showing, as such as research shows, that generative concern shares a significant positive relationship with measures of life satisfaction, self-esteem, happiness, and a sense of coherence, which are the things that we're trying to bring into our senior group. Other research that supports generativity for seniors, a research study was done using a group of 20 retirees. It was more of a focus group, qualitative type research, and throughout this focus group, what was found was that civic engagement is an important type of generative action that can lead to feelings of generativity. Another research article showed that older Australians found intergenerational relationships very important, and especially in increasing their feelings of generativity. We can see here that a group member stated, "I need to take a different outlook on life. I was bored stiff. I lay around rather than get up and do things for people. There's no future in that." So just by talking about generativity, more awareness was found and brought about in the group members. One more study that we'll talk about is more related to depression and depressive symptoms in older adults. This research found that a different kind of therapy, reminiscent therapy, could help alleviate some depressive symptoms in older adults. And the basis of reminiscent therapy is talking with a therapist about the past and kind of reminiscing. So we'll use this kind of strategy in our own way in leading a group to bring about past feelings of maybe completion of different tasks or different times in lives when older adults can look back and see that they did overcome some sort of struggle and use that as a coping mechanism as well.
So the goals of the group, one of the obvious main goals is to perform acts of service that the group members themselves determine are meaningful. And then hopefully through doing these acts and being able to talk as they're doing the acts, they'll increase their feelings of social connection, they'll increase their feelings of generativity, and then hopefully an overall increase in their perception of their own self-worth. And then eventually the goal of the group would be that it becomes member-led and does not need any sort of facilitator to organize the meetings. So how we can determine if our goals are being met is using an isolation assessment and a generativity assessment that the members would be given before the group began and at the end of the trial period.
Various inclusion and exclusion criteria for the participants are as follows. They must be more than 65 years old to be more of the retired population. They must have a score of 5 or higher on the Allen Cognitive Assessment, a higher than or lower than a 38 on the Perceived Loneliness Scale, higher on the Loyola Generativity Scale, and actually have the ability to get to the community center where we will be having the group. Exclusion criteria includes being employed full-time. This means it would include those who are never employed, such as housewives, and they also must not have any unstable physical, emotional, or mental health comorbidities.
So what we would need for this group is we obviously need a community meeting place. As part of that community place, we would need tables and chairs for the members to work on, as well as having it accessible or a layout that we can vary as needed. And then for the actual community service projects, those supplies will be dependent on what the projects are. Could include things such as art supplies, pens and paper, packing materials, and then obviously any sort of drive would require donated items.
For our activity, when we were presenting this to our class, it was a little bit difficult since our class is not at the age of generativity versus stagnation. However, we adapted this to our college class and had our group make cards for other members of our class, cards of encouragement, such as the seniors may give cards of encouragement to soldiers, children at a hospital, or other groups. When doing this, they were encouraged to add lots of words of encouragement. If they did not come, we provided them with some of these sayings and quotes. Of course, we did not give the cards back to the class right away, for we wanted them to know that they would be giving it anonymously and that the feeling was about giving rather than receiving.
So after doing the activity, some questions we might ask to process what we've been learning and the feelings of generativity and the feelings of giving, such as how did this activity make you feel? Do you feel connected to your community? What feelings or memories did this trigger? Did you feel this was a productive activity? Did you feel focused and engaged during the entire activity? So these questions would be asked directly after the activity to get feedback on how it went for the participants.
To generalize the experience, we would ask things such as what were common emotions and memories triggered by this activity. We really want the group to start thinking outside of themselves and recognizing what other people were feeling and thinking about. So another question would be that if they were working together, how did that make them feel? Did it engender solidarity, companionship, or was it more of a parallel where there was not much communication other than what was necessary? Another thing is, what was the mood and atmosphere created by this activity, and how would they compare this particular experience to past community experiences? And if there was a positive association with this one or a more negative. And then how did it feel to be an anonymous beneficiary?
Then we wanted them to apply everything they've learned to when they leave our group. Some questions that for the application would be, did this activity encourage you to give more to people in your life? Did it motivate you to seek out social or community interaction? Are you more likely to participate in community events? And did acknowledging different life circumstances make you feel more positive about your own life? And can you think of other organizations that can benefit from our skills and time to know what community groups they may like to help out in the future?
And some points for summary. We want to summarize what we accomplished today with our activity. share memories and experiences, and this shared memories and experiences kind of go back to that reminiscent therapy and ways that seniors might recall the past and help them move forward with the future. Feelings about the project, and we'll develop a plan for next time, since the idea of our group is to have a different community service project either next time or every other time, depending on how long the service projects take.
Thank you for watching this video. This has been a task-oriented group by occupational therapy students from Temple University.